Yes. Okay. I'm going to introduce you, Sonja, in English because of we recording this, so all the participants of our international cross-cultural data visualization project can watch this at a later point. Well, we're very happy that Sonja is going to give a guest lecture for us. Sonja is an independent designer. That's how you call yourself, I guess.
Today I call myself data illustrator.
Illustrator, yes. And yeah, she has a very broad oeuvre. She made very diverse work, but it's all centered around data visualization on very different topics. And she's going to tell something about her work, the design process she follows, and with a little bit of extra attention to a data viz project she once made on where she took a book as a source.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's start. I'm gonna share my screen now. So, you can see this?
Yes.
Wait, yeah, okay. I can still hear you. Okay. So yes, hi, I'm Sonja Kuijpers, Dutch, living in Eindhoven, the Netherlands, down south. Yeah, as I told earlier, I'm on the safe side when water rises. I started data viz in about 2015. I come from a background of landscape design, and when the economic crisis hit, this whole field collapsed, and I had to do something different. And I found this thing happening back then on infographics and data viz. It was an upcoming field, and I found it very interesting. And I didn't know where to start, so I just started with something that to me was interesting, and that was the weather of Eindhoven. So it's very accessible data because you can take it off the internet from the forecasting here in the Netherlands. And yeah, I just started with something that I thought was easy to get into. And I'm always fascinated by radials, and this is the first thing that I did. I intended to do as a data viz because looking back, I think I was already into data viz with the landscaping as well, because you have to visualize different layers. And also here on Design Academy, where I studied, you have to do research analysis. So that mostly always involves some sort of data. What I did next was, I got into this field and I started communicating with people who were already in this field. I visited conferences and I just started practicing with data that I found online. But also I got some clients like Frankfurter Allgemeiner, the one on the left. I got to do 3 pages on Wagner, and this is operas, and it was a really thrilling project because 3 pages in a daily paper, that's a really magnificent project to do. I mainly have international clients, I must say. I don't know why, but they're finding me easier to reach out to than Dutch somehow. But what I also do is, like you see on the bottom right, is a data viz that I did on mascara. So something that I was very annoyed with back then was that I couldn't find a mascara that I like, but it's always overwhelming to find all these different mascara, and I don't know what to do when I'm overwhelmed what to choose. So I scraped the data from a website on mascara, so all the different brands, different colors, but I just took the black ones because I just wanted the black one. And so I took this data to see what it would come out, what would come out if I started searching for something that fitted me. So black was something I was looking for. I was looking for a waterproof one, and I have sensitive eyes because of my hay fever. So that were the things that I was looking for. So through all this data, I tried to find the one that I should buy, and I actually did, but it's not in this visualization. But yeah, it's how I start out sometimes, just from frustration and looking for a solution for myself. What I also do is start projects on pop cultural stuff. So like the Brat Pack. I don't know if any of you know this. I'm much older than you all, folks over there. I was born in the 70s, so the 80s was a very pop cultural thing for me. So the Brat Pack, those were actors that starred in every movie back then, and I did a visualization on that as well. I like doing these things for myself to just see what shapes can I use, what data is there to find, and how to communicate this. One client approached me to do visualization on a Japanese seasonal calendar, and there's lots of text in there, and I didn't know exactly what I should visualize. Then I started looking at what it meant. There was also an English translation of these seasons, and it says something like the geese are flying north, or they are flying back south again, or blossom of the cherry tree is opening up, things like that. And that's what I drew on top of all these texts, because I wanted to highlight the visual aspect as well. So this is very straight on. What you know is what you visualize. Then back in 2018, I got into a very heavy depression, and I created this project. I don't know if anyone saw it already on my website, but what you see here is a visualization. It's a landscape with trees, water, waves, buildings, clouds. But what is actually there is this information. It's all data from the suicide numbers of 2017 in the Netherlands. So there's people who hang themselves, there's people who jump from heights. The methods were described in the database of the Netherlands, the Statistical Bureau. And they have data on the categories and the ages. There was also some information on the why, but I didn't incorporate that. But by visualizing this in another way than just the numbers made it very, it was an emotional process in itself. And in the end, this is what you first see on my website, and people were very, I don't know if you call it shocked, but impressed. They were touched by this visualization, and that was kind of exactly what I was searching for, because these trees, these buildings, these clouds, they were all people, and not just some number and some Excel sheet. And that's what I wanted to express, because I was feeling very, very low myself, and I wanted to show, no, I'm just not just a number. Numbers are people. What I also do is not just show my actual projects, but there's lots of mistakes in the process. There's lots of testing out and things going wrong in between steps. And these are also on my Instagram, because I think the process is also part of what you actually create, because there's so much time and sweat going into the whole process of design. This is a side thing of me. I'm going into nature to get some inspiration and to just clear my head, and that's where I go with my camera to photograph mushrooms and slime molds and mosses, the tiny stuff underneath and under our feet. Yeah, yes, entering data viz. So what I also did next to the one that I showed before, the weather data viz, is that I found this online group that had a weekly sort of, it was not a competition, it was just an assignment. So they showed, it was called Monday Makeovers, I think, yeah. And they just had a visualization, and they were asking, what would you do differently, and what is the message clear, and stuff like that. And then you could use the data set that they also provided and create your own data viz with. So that was a really great exercise to, yeah, just try out shapes, and if I could handle different sizes of data. Yeah, well, my design process. So it's not just here's the data and then design something. I draw a lot, and when I say draw, it's just some scratchy notes and not very artistic ways of drawing. I just sketch on every paper that I come across, and but it's very handy to try out connections and relations and see how, yeah, which shapes are necessary or could fit the data that's provided, because yeah, you can have an idea in your head, but it doesn't mean that it will work eventually. What I also do, and this is the mood board that I had with the project that I showed on the suicide numbers. So I always look for images online or things that I remind myself of that I saw earlier, and I look for colors, for shapes, just the atmosphere that I want to create in my visualization. And this is an ongoing process. It's not that I find this and then this is it. I just go back and forth between the sketches, between the data, and finding more images if I need to. And when I have my data, this is what I also do. I'm looking for the relations between the data. I always, not always, but often try out in Wargraphs program. That's where you can try out different graphical ways to show the data. It's more flexible than Excel, I think. I use Excel as well to just try to get a feeling of how the things relate to each other, or the sizes and the properties, and if there are any outliers, because, well, when there's one really big number, it has to be a really big shape, and then some little shapes won't get noticed. So that's something to keep in mind, that yeah, properties are very important and outliers are a thing to watch out for. So I try out different things and I lay out a bit. If it's a bigger assignment, I try out different layouts and show my clients in between what I'm thinking of. So now, hello. Now my computer's stuck. Uh-oh. Oh, no, okay, this way. So I'm just going to show some other projects by other people, that I find inspiring, and that are also data viz on books, but also other media. Just showing books here, but yeah, you can imagine that for example, songs, poetry, all these things can be visualized as well. Not just the amount, but also the feeling of the songs. Yeah, the emotional parts. No, it's not working anymore. I found this one on Brave New World. I don't know if anyone's familiar with the book. It's made by Flora Chan, and she created this visualization. And as you can see, these gray blocks in the visualization are all the text of the book. And then she highlighted elements, things that relate to each other, and then she made these connections all through the text blocks. And I think this is a great way to get an overview on what's connected, relations, but also categories in the book. So maybe there's this chapter that's on a different subject, and you can show this by color, and but also connect these back to another subject. So you can see all these relations between I think it's a very cool way of showing what a text is like, feels like. Where, oh, my mouse. One of the greatest designers that I believe is creating cool data viz on books is Nicolas Rogier. And as you can see, he did a visualization on Alice Adventures in Wonderland, but what he did is not visualize the text, but the punctuation. So he took all the dots, the commas, exclamation marks, and put them on a visualization. And I think it begins in the center and then warps outwards. So it's not the text itself, but the punctuation that he visualized, which is, I think, a really great way to make an interesting visualization. Come. He also created this one. It's, I think he calls it cities cities of books. And as you can see, it's on the left is the original book, and what he really simply, I don't know if it's simply, but I'm using this word now. He simply created colored text blocks or colored blocks to visualize the text itself. So you can see the title and the subtitle all in colors, and I think he sort of coded what the grammar was, and then he also rotated these blocks, and he created a cityscape with it, and he created several of these, so which you can also buy as posters. And it's not that complicated in itself, but the result is very, I think it's very, very attractive. I just heard that you also had a lecture by Stefani Posavec. This is one of the things that I find most inspiring, and I'm using her technique as well for my projects. So she uses the book itself, notes everything down. It's a lot of work, I must say, but what she does here, to me, this is art and poetry in itself. So what she did was using the grammar and decide on the information at which point the line would how do you say that in English? De hoek omslaan? Turn the corner. Where the line would turn a corner, and then she coded everything, the grammar of the book, and then you get this whole structure, which I think is it's really, really cool. My computer's not responding very well. So that brings me to what is actually what you can create with the data from a book, or what is the data from a book. You can use the grammar like Stefanie does. You can use the locations in the book, the time. So maybe the time when it's written, or the time if it's chronological, or the flashbacks, or some stuff like that, or the time around the world. Is it the same time as we are here now? You can use the characters. That's what I will show next on my own project. Yeah, like Nicolas, you can show punctuation. You can talk about the senses that are described in the book. So maybe a book is very descriptive about the smell of a situation or a location. The terminology, that's also mostly by scientific books important. Connections, and that's not just connections in the book, but maybe you can also look at where it stands in the whole spectrum of yeah, maybe connected to other books on the subject. Sizes, sizes in the sense of the length of chapters, or size, the physical size maybe of the books or book. Yeah, colors are often important. Relations between characters, between locations, and there's also emotions, of course. Maybe probably more in literature and not so much in scientific books, but yeah, there's also all sorts of these things that you can try get out of texts. It's not working. What I'm showing next is my design process on the Hotel New Hampshire. It's a book written by John Irving, and as you can see, I'm a big fan of John Irving. I took this photo, and I don't even know if they're all there, but I started reading his books, I think, when I was in high school, when I was like 16 or 18, something like that. And I just find his books very, very intriguing. There are very quirky characters in there. There's many queer personages. There's lots of things happening that are extraordinary, but in the book they make sense. But it's very, and also the way he writes, it's very descriptive in all senses. So it's not just this happens and then this happens and he's doing this and he's doing that, but it's very, how do you say it? Wollig? Wollig in English. Anyone?
Woolly or
Woolly? No, it's not.
elaborate?
Maybe descriptive is just the correct word. I don't know. Well, yeah, I really like this style. So yeah, the one I picked was the Hotel New Hampshire because yeah, I don't know if anyone knows it, but you should read it. That's the tip I'm giving you. And as you can see, it has been, I think it was written back in the 60s or 70s, I guess. As you can see, it's been reprinted over and over and over again, and translated in very different languages as well. And there was also this movie. I don't know if you recognize these folks. It's Rob Lowe in the middle. Then there's Jodie Foster on the right, and to the left it's Natasha Kingsky. They were, yeah, like I already said in another project, they were 80s icons, actors. And I saw the movie when I was creating this project, and I don't remember it like that. It was really, really weird. Yeah, and as I showed with the project by Stefanie, I'm also doing this project like this. I take a lot of pencils and I just start scribbling down in the book what I want to get out of it. And this is what I did. I took the data on the characters, and I highlighted when they were mentioned, and I highlighted when they were speaking and how many words. I counted how many words they spoke. So the amount of appearances and the amount of speech. And as I said before, I look for inspirational images online. And this is something that, yeah, like I said, it's not linear. It's going back and forth. And then I collect these things on one screen so I can get back to it. And maybe when I'm not satisfied, I can go search for others. So there's Miro and the Scalder and designer Treft, I guess. So I like these shapes and these, yeah, sort of, I think it's 60s style. Well, yeah, here you can see a detail on color code, the text, and this is how my dog helped out. So there went one color I didn't have. I had to replace it with orange, I guess. And then there's this hard work involved as well with noting down all the counts and all the things that I marked down. As you can see by character, so this is the appearance, and this is the right column is how many words he spoke, and by page. So I, as you can see down here, I counted per chapter. So there's 12 chapters, and I had 12 of these sheets, and different amount of characters, because in the beginning they were different than in the end. What I then do is see how proportions work. So as you can see, here I try out per chapter if there are different sizes, and if it's going to be difficult to show the properties in the end, because as you can see here, for it's very big, but then I don't know which one it is. Oh, egg is very small. So I have to take it into account if I'm going to be able to actually visualize this difference, this different amount. So I'm just trying out stuff, and this is a thing that I created out of war graphs, I guess. I just put in the data, and in Illustrator I recolored it. And actually looks very fun, but I can't really see what is going on, who is who, and the relations in between. And here I tried out what if I could just combine the amount of speech and the amount of characters, the character count. But I thought, well, this is pretty boring and it looks like Barbara Papa, so I didn't go on with it. And this is what I do next. I just, like I said, I take a program like WarGraphs or just from Excel, and then the data I take it to Illustrator, and then I just go rearrange and recolor and see what the proportions are, and collect all the data in one sheet, so I can see properly what the possibilities are. And of course, there's the sketching. With this one, I didn't really look at what the information was. Like, for instance, with my suicide project, I really looked at what the methods were, and I tried to translate it into some shapes. So like I showed, the hanging, I translated as a tree and things like that. So that's very metaphorical. But here I was like, no, I can't come up with something very that really shows who is who. So, and I wanted to look like the things that I showed for inspiration. I didn't want to, I just wanted to be some sort of art project. So I just started drawing different shapes for the different characters. You can see that I scribbled down some names, and I tried out how to visualize the difference to the character, but also the amount of speech. So the things that you see here, these lines and bubbles, this is how I try to show how many times a character spoke. And yeah, next to that, I'm also looking for how to lay out these things. And here you can see I think this is the size of, yeah, I took the sizes of the amount of mentioned, that the character was mentioned, and then I try to assemble this on a layout. So see how they can be spread out in the thing that in the size that I had for a poster. That was my intention. I wanted to create a poster, but not just one poster, a poster for each chapter. So 12 posters in the end. So here you can see that I'm trying out different things with colors, with the amounts, with the layout. It's an ongoing thing, and this is what I came out in the end. So every character is one shape, and so this is the legend. And it's just the main characters in the book, because there are many more, but they don't have this important role in the book. And on my website, that's where I shortly describe what's happening in the book. So I introduce the characters. There's John, and then there's Winberry. So I describe who comes in who appears in the book and what their relations are. I don't think I'm showing the plot here. No, you have to read yourself. And this is what it looks like on my website. I have this main screen. In the middle is the poster, so the chapter. And as you see here, 6, but it's a slideshow. So every few seconds the slide slides, and then you see next chapter. But here to the left and the right, there's always the legend. So I'm showing that the scale of the shape tells something about the number of appearances, and the dots and lines show the number of speech. So there's 100 words, there's 10 words, and there's 1 word, and then, as you can see, these different dots show these numbers. So it's more of an art project than an actual, yeah, what people say, a visualization, but it's still data involved, many data involved. And in the end, you have these 12 posters, which are all different. Yeah, I really enjoyed working on this project. It took a lot of time, I must say, but when you're excited about something that's dear to your heart, then it, yeah, I wouldn't say it's a piece of cake, but you work on it with eager, yeah. Yeah, well, that was about it, I guess. This is where you can find me. I'm not on Facebook anymore, but on other social media you can find me. I do a lot of collecting of inspirational projects or images on Pinterest. So there's lots of data visualization related images on my Pinterest. And I share my own stuff on Instagram and Twitter. Like I said, I use mainly Adobe Illustrator. I don't do code. I can't code. So Adobe Illustrator is my go-to, but I do use the help of Excel and Workgraphs. And what I also want to mention is I did this course on Domestica, which describes my process on a book, which in this case is The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. And that's where I describe the process as as I showed you just now, like I did on the Hotel New Hampshire, but this is more elaborate. Yeah, you can follow the course. It's not that much. It's not that expensive, I think, in my opinion. But I don't know if there's a student rate. But it's not that expensive. Yeah, I hope I helped you out with how you can approach a text. Yeah, Maaike told me a bit about what your project is about, and I believe it's a physical visualization you have to create. Yeah, so yeah, you can really look at distance between data points, of course, because that's really interesting, I think, to show in 3D. But yeah, you can use the color of materials or the materials itself to create something. I think that is very interesting to work with. Just not, yeah. There's already a lot of expressiveness in materials itself. So go for it. I'm really looking forward to what you will create. Yeah, Maaike.
Thank you, Sonja. Thank you. Yeah, maybe if there are some questions as well from the people, the Turkish students and teachers who are here in the meeting. But I think there's one question here from Stijn.
Yeah, can you hear me?
A bit, maybe.
Yeah, if you come here, then.
Yeah.
So I actually listened to your interview with Potlotcast.
Oh, yeah, all right. Yeah.
And you mentioned that, you know, when you were a student, you were very insecure about your work, and that really left you. So I was wondering, like, how did you develop ways of coping with that insecurity?
Oh, I didn't. Oh, well, I think maybe I acted a little blonde. Oh, that's fair. That's not the right way to say that. I think I got the good help from from the teachers. They were really supportive. Not always, because I don't know how it goes down there, but Design Academy is really sometimes depressive. Teachers can be very hard on students, but there's also lots of teachers who are very nice. So yeah, they help me out, and yeah, just speak up when you're in trouble. I think that's the best you can do. Yeah.
Thank you.
So you did the Design Academy in Eindhoven, Sonja?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, public space is what I studied. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
Are there any more questions?
Are you looking forward to the project? I'm wondering.
Yeah, you will find at the end of the website.
Yeah.
The short films.
Yeah, we will send you some of the results. They started a week ago.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'll show you the book. Here's the book. So it's quite a big book.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's a tour around the world, and there are a lot of photographs in it, like this. It's beautiful, and that's also why we took it, because this is an international project, and the book is also very international. Yeah, so it will also be like translating visual data or visual content to another visualization. Yeah, so there are all kinds of levels to can deal with it. Yeah.
So next to the water that's in all the pictures, I guess, you can also look for similar objects that are in these pictures.
Yes.
Or look at the timing, maybe when a picture is made or created, or stuff like that. Yeah, I could say, but that's more illustrative. The one that I mentioned, Nicolas Roger, he also does projects on the images of books. He takes them out and then, but it's not photos. It's
yeah, and a lot about nature as well, I guess.
Yeah.
It's lovely.
And math.
Yeah, nature and math.
Also,
Yeah.
what Anna Rosling does with the similarities. The Dover Street.
Yeah.
With data and photography.
Yeah, there's so much inspiring work in this field.
And there's also photo viz itself, of course.
Yeah. So, and there are quite some Turkish students. Do you have any questions for Sonja right now, or? Please don't be shy.
No, don't be shy. I don't bite.
No, I don't hear anything. Okay, I guess it. Sonja, thanks. Oh,
the dog is molesting a plant. Sorry. I have to go.
It's not only pencils he likes to eat.
No, not only pencils. No.
Also plants. Okay, then thank you, Sonja. We will let you go to rush you to plant, and we will give you an update about.
Yeah, looking forward. Really curious. Yeah.
Okay.
Good luck on the subject. Don't get depressed.
No.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.